What is it like to have your first violin performance in front of people? Well, I had my violin performance debut in a live theater show. Stick around to hear what worked, what didn't, and how you can set yourself up for success for your first live performance. Welcome to 2025, everyone. I had a wild and thrilling 2024, and I'm excited to get back to making videos for you all. Let's take it back to the beginning of 2024, when I agreed to compose and arrange music for Much Ado About Nothing, which is a comedic Shakespeare play. To add to the challenge, I played violin for the first time in front of an audience and learned guitar and played that during the show as well. This show was with an equity company, so unfortunately I can't share any of the live audio from the performance or of the songs, but I am here to share my experience today and inspire you if you are prepping for or dream of one day performing in a live violin performance or concert. My life motto is chase challenges, and I knew that this theater company was going to challenge me while also supporting me through a growth phase. So I agreed to take charge on the music, and first off, I started with a lot of research on Elizabethan style songs, which was the style of the show. For the top of the show, I ended up making a violin solo from one song and then sort of melding that solo into the main song, Lilac Wine, which the director had chosen. I wrote violin, guitar, percussion, and vocals for that song, and then the cast also kind of helped flesh everything out. I also wrote a song for the middle of the show, and that was a fully original song for guitar and singing, using Shakespeare's lyrics. Then sigh not so, but let them go, and be you blithe and bonny, converting all your sounds of woe into hey, na-ni, na-ni, na-na, 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 na, hey, na-ni, na-ni, na-na. And then for the end of the show, I arranged a full company number for singing and dancing, arranging the song Red Red Wine. And that one was wild because it included a drum, tambourine, violin, guitar, and 4-part harmony. And then they were dancing on top of that, so crazy times. For my guitar and violin playing, I had to keep things simple for me because going too crazy difficult would not have been possible for just a 3.5-week rehearsal process. There's just not enough time to get things really tight musically, and especially if you're new to an instrument, you'll be thinking about way too many things. Like, for example, if they make you play your violin solo and walk down a set of tight stairs. Oh no! Thankfully, they ended up changing that before we opened the show, but boy, that was harder than you might think. However, even in trying to make things easy on myself, there were so many mistakes. I found that through the rehearsal process, I made every possible mistake so that by performances, I actually wasn't as scared because I'd already done the worst. Mistakes I made were not major usually, and often not even noticeable by my castmates, which was kind of surprising. Things like accidentally hitting another string on a string crossing, missing a double stop, things like that. All the same, I really wanted to do really well and sound good and make the show extra great, so I was always very hard on myself. Also, sometimes I would completely blank out and forget where my fingers were supposed to go. Yay! So it made me realize that you have to play a piece hundreds of times before you can actually master it, or rather, until you get it second nature or like totally completely subconscious. So if you think you're ready for your concert, play it 50 more times at least. By the end of our 4-week run of the show, it was extremely rewarding. I still got really nervous doing my solo at the top of the show. It set the tone for the show, and it was just the sound of the violin at the beginning, which was always pretty nerve-wracking. But I started to settle in a little after a while, and I felt pretty good by the end. It did take that long though, to be honest. It required so many repeated times playing the piece, and then so many times playing the piece in front of people. Playing in front of people totally changes things psychologically, which I learned by doing. And it was also rewarding to know that I did something challenging, but I also have so much further to go with my skills. It's crazy to think that the violin can make so many different sounds, and to get even proficient in them takes absolutely years. Thankfully, I had a chance to play violin in another show, 12th Night, in November, December 2024, so I got to tackle it again. In doing that, I found a lot of things from it. Like, I found that my nerves were significantly less than the first time, because I knew how to breathe through things, and I was more confident in like picking up the instrument and messing around on it to find a melody, or a section to accompany another instrument, or the whole band. I also could give myself a little more grace because I understood that the audience doesn't really always hear the little string crossing noises or bow hesitation, things that I would call mistakes, and definitely not if there were other instruments or other actors talking during the music. Certainly being in tune is very important because they will hear if it's off pitch, but the little things that you can hear so acutely, the audience doesn't often pick up on or even think it's a mistake. Or if they do, then they're moving on to the next moment and they'll forget about it completely, and they might think it's just part of the flavor of the show. One huge thing that I found out from doing Much Ado, which is a big surprise, was that I learned that the tremolo sounds different from a distance than it does up close to the player's ear. I didn't know this until the final week of the show, and it was mind-blowing to me. I was talking to some of my cast members backstage, and they said that it always sounded like one fluid sound, but to me, it had always sounded like the effort from the motion of the bow speed. Like I heard every back and forth from the tremolo, but the audience heard something more cohesive, and that was wild to me to find out. So there are always things that you're gonna learn and discover, and that's what makes it so exciting, and an exciting challenge as well. So, if you are preparing for a solo or a group performance, here's my advice. Practice your piece 1,000,000 times. Then practice your piece from start to finish 1,000,000 times. Then play your piece in front of people as much as you can before the performance. This will get your brain accustomed to the new stimuli, the new thoughts, and the changes to your hand and finger mechanics. Give yourself grace during the performance if any flubs happen. Chances are the audience didn't notice, or if they did, like I said, they'll forget it in a couple of bars. And then after the performance is over, do some reflection. Find out what worked for you, what didn't, and then note how you can improve for next time. Take the moment as a learning opportunity. Take a breath, and then move on to the next challenge. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, if you have a moment, comment down below and let me know what videos and content you'd like to see this year. 2025 is the year this channel shall get monetized, YouTube be willing, and I will be able to share more of my journey with you if I can support this channel through monetization, because I am an actor and an artist. I'm freelancing, doing a million things at once, and not all of them are for money. So I piece together my income, and it's much appreciated if you're able to support this channel. Thank you so much for your support, and until next time, happy practicing.